well, momentum is gathering in this game as we see rook to d8 targeting the d pawn. Going to put you on your spot, on both of you on the spot. So can I get an answer from you?
Either Jan, no, it won't be Jan Valle. Daniel Stellwagen.
Ooh, that's what I read on. That's what I read on Twitter, and that's what I think is the answer. I might be wrong. It might be fake news.
Okay.
But yes, the answer is Daniel Stellwagen, and it was in the Essen tournament.
Okay, I was thinking I played him in a World Junior Championship a couple of years after, so I was trying to go through in my mind all the young Dutch Grandmasters. That's impressive. I didn't know that though. 2004. Magnus was 13, so yeah, quite a while ago.
David is wasted as a Grandmaster. He should be a detective, right?
Yeah. Dr. Dave.
For a reason. But I have to say, I mean, 2004, Magnus might be 13, but still a super talent, so quite an achievement. By the way, Pragg keeping the pace on the clock. He steps it up with the knight. Knight takes pawn. It's not just a pawn. It comes in with a deadly threat of a checkmate against the black king. And if you go f6, thank you very much, knight g6 anyway.
Yeah, f6, knight g6. So just put that on the board. And that is a dead king in the corner. Black's going to have to sacrifice his rook to get it out because if the king steps forward, I mean, there's h4, there's all sorts of finishes here. h4 shuts the door, threatens the mate around the back as well. So how to deal with this pawn? I don't think you can defend it.
No.
You can't go d6. If you go knight to g5, that knight just gets hit with h4. Get out of there. Okay. Give me that f7 pawn. Give me your king.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. And it's looking critical for Vincent as the knight and the rook start to swarm around the black king. Let's go to the bird's eye view because it seems like the players have saved their best for last. Take a look at the evaluation bars. Looks like it's a great day to be playing with the white pieces.
Oh, I'm so annoyed. I nearly said as a joke there will be 6 decisive games, and of course there won't be because Firouzja against So it's going to be a draw, but everywhere else, a very, very white day for the white. Yeah, for those with white, just pressing at the right amount, and looks like they'll all be rewarded.
Wow. Yeah, it feels like it's going to be a bit of a bloodbath right now. I will say, though, Wesley and Firouzja haven't started yet. I wonder if they're waiting for a result on this board, watching this play out, because that does have ramifications for Wesley and Firouzja taking on their battle.
Yes, it definitely does, because if Pragg wins it, then it doesn't really matter whether Wesley wins the Armageddon or not. But he's going to take second place regardless, but it's super exciting here. Is Pragg going to put the finishing touches onto this position? How is Vincent going to put in resistance?
By the way, centerboard, Magnus is down to 5 seconds on the clock, made that move with about 4 seconds.
Wow.
Oh, he played the best move, Magnus, despite having no time. Gukesh is not as out of it as we thought. It's not a pawn down yet for the world champion. Magnus, though, should be winning with his bishop pair. Should be a simple plan of advancing his pawn in the central board. And we'll just very quickly show that. There we go. The eval bars are going sky high on both boards, though, for white. Magnus dropping back his king. And on that left board, the A pawn is going to be the clincher when it starts finally rolling down the board. But Pragg, so close now. There is a knockout blow, apparently. The bar is almost totally white. Where is it? Is it a checkmate? Is he winning material? What is the maximum for Praggnanandhaa? How does he do it without risking the fact that he's on the brink of winning the tournament?
And what that does to your mind, the nerves and the tension of that, the feeling of that. He's got to be just so many emotions going through Praggnanandhaa right now. Here at Norway Chess, incredible decisive chess by him so far. And that's what Norway Chess awards and rewards, right? With its scoring system. You have to be ambitious to get up the leaderboard. Always an eye on the leader was Praggnanandhaa, and now about to take it. But what's the easiest path here if you're white? Do you take the pawn on g6? Do you put pressure on f7? Do you pick that pawn up with your own knight? Decisions, 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 and not so easy.
Not so easy for Pragg because he's got so much choice, right? You know, as you mentioned, pawn takes pawn. One thing that does come to mind, you know, rook to f8, hunting down the f7 pawn looks really good. But, you know, also the pawn on d5 is up for grabs.
I mean, at this point, it's just a question of whether there are several winning paths or whether he has to be accurate, Pragg. I mean, it feels like he can do almost anything and keep an advantage. It's just whether he realizes that he can pretty much settle it here and now. That's hard at the board to control your nerves, contain that. and just lock in on finding the accuracy when you know that everything's good.
I do love the very direct idea that NewB pointed out, and Prog is a calculator, right? So he's going to be looking at lines that come in with a threat. And I'm looking at Rook F8, a move that you mentioned right now, because you're not only hitting the F7 pawn, let's say the Black Knight falls back to defend it, there's an X-ray vision on that F line as well. If White on that right board Prog places his Rook on F8, you fall back with your Knight on D6, he's going to be thanking you. Pawn takes pawn is a deadly check and can't be captured anyway.
Let's jump in, let's show it. Magnus on the left board is winning. He doesn't have much time, but we'll keep everyone updated if he does flag or if he does convert. This one, Rook to F8 is the clincher. I was also looking the other direction. I was thinking this bishop is actually almost trapped. You can go for it with your rook, but Rook F8 is the one. Just to show Tanya's idea. Knight back to D6 doesn't work because of that beautiful X-ray, long distance. F takes G6, you can't take it because you lose your rook. And therefore, if black tries to, for example, capture this pawn, this looks like a mating net against the black king. I'm looking at ways to try and get at it. Maybe you just take with the knight and just wanted to show this beautiful checkmate.
That's lovely.
But
imagine winning Norway chess with a pawn checkmate.
Oh, beautiful. Prag's so close. Just needs Rook F8 or a similar type of move to end this here and now.
What would be a mistake for Prag? Like if you were, for instance, to go Rook takes D5, has he squandered away the win?
Still better, but yeah, I think he would have to do it the hard way, maybe just taking a pawn. And I mean, here the white king is under a bit of fire, maybe H4 knight coming in at some point, but still in full control, Prag. Maybe trading the pawns, I was going to say, a mistake, but okay, still a pawn up and still looking good. It feels like everything is winning. It's just a case of whether he lands the immediate blow or whether the game goes on.
Well, he found Rook to B8 earlier on. He understood that he needed to go F5. He understands that the target actually is the black king. Rook F8, just weaving a mating net around the black king. That would be the move.
You know, but David, the option that you mentioned, knowing Prog, that's also a very direct approach. You hit that bishop on A4. The only square I see for it is D1. And he plays it. Incredible stuff by Pragnananda. He's about to win Norway chess.
Wow. Wow. What a tournament it has been for Prag so far, on the verge of winning his 4th game in a row. The storylines are just immense for him. He's had it all.
And he was the one player who was never in the lead, but always chasing the lead, always in the mix.
Yeah,
And
he was actually in last place before all these wins, you know? He was in sole last place, and then he caught fire.
Yeah.
Incredible.
After 2 back-to-back losses, he was staring at the pit. And then what a response it has been so far by Pragnananda with the white pieces. Just a few more accurate moves, and the title is his.
So close now. Nothing Vincent can do. No way to prolong the fight. It's 2 threats. Both rook takes pawn check and f takes g6 check. And that X-ray vision. Black's rook going in behind was the cause of a lot of his trouble. It was superficial. It didn't actually create anything. White's pawn advancing was part of his plan anyway, so Vincent forced Prag to find the winning plan, but boy, has he taken it with both hands in such ruthless fashion. I mean, his accuracy sky high in such a title game, a championship game like this one. Prag, I don't think this is a defense now. I think Vincent just has to give up some material and hope that Prag hallucinates. It's touching distance away.
And Vincent, he's got to keep fighting, but he's got 5.5 minutes on the clock as Prag gets up and leaves the board, leaving Vincent to his miseries right now. It's not just the clock, but the position falling apart. David, are there any chances of survival with the knight falling back, pawn takes pawn, you move the king, and you start hitting Prag's rook on f8? Is that something that Vincent could hope for in this position?
It might have to be something along those lines, a capture and the black king just sidestepping. When the dust settles, white is going to be a pawn up with an ongoing attack there. The king will hit the rook, but the rook does have a nice tempo gaining hit on the black bishop. I think we'll see that play out. Just to very quickly show it, as Tanya's pointing out, knight back, defending the pawn. Maybe this is the more valuable one of the two. F takes g6, check. King moves, rook hits the bishop. And the bishop has almost no squares. Vincent's going for something else, about to make a move. He does go back. And this variation is actually going to play out.
We're going to see this happen on the board. Watch as Prag picks up the pawn on g6 and puts the finishing touches to this one. unbelievable turnaround in the last round here at Norway Chess. And you can see it in his body language, the confidence that he's feeling. Just needs to stay calm. And as our featured said it there, completely deserving after taking down the GOAT twice in a tournament.
He can barely contain his excitement. You can see how he's poised. He's just working out what's going to happen after pawn takes a g6. Black cannot capture because of the loose rook there on f1. And Vincent, he knows it's all over. Pragg came to the game looking for a fight. He chose something unusual in the opening, and he got a position that he could just squeeze Vincent Keimer, and this is the result. What a fantastic game. Flawless.
Yeah, almost perfect play when the nerves are high. That's why he was walking around there. I mean, he hasn't hit the time control yet. He has 6 minutes to make 4 moves before any increment kicks in. But within 4 moves, he might have clinched it. He might have delivered mate or won enough pawns that Vincent's forced to resign. Pragg takes 1. Check. The king has to sidestep. Because of that pin on the f-file, the X-ray vision, the white rook now can save itself with gain of tempo, hitting the black bishop. And only next would he take that pawn, create more squares for his knights to jump into. Pragg getting excited now. Another move about to land. Vincent is not going to be happy with these past 2 games, says I'm firecracker, and that's true. Vincent.
He's going to go in for the
Wow.
check. Yes, beautiful move. Forcing Vincent to give up the exchange.
What a blow. Pragg not letting up at all. He's full steam ahead, going for it. Vincent's exchange down, about to pick up the g6 pawn, but the white king can soon travel forward. The white rook still the most valuable piece. This is so close to over.
Wesley So led this tournament for the last 5 rounds. Alireza before that. Carlsen was supposed to win Norway Chess for the 8th time. And now Pragnananda shows up in how, and doing this, finishing it off flawlessly. Bishop falls back, you're up in exchange. And you can see it on Vincent Keimer. He knows this is all over.
It's been so tough for Vincent. It could have been an incredible tournament for him, but he left a lot of missed chances on the board. Of course, losing all those Armageddons didn't help for Vincent. That was a lot of bonus points he could have picked up. And to end it on this note, that is a rough end. But chess is sometimes like that. It rewards the brave, and Pragnananda is the definition of brave this event. This would be his 5th classical win.
Yeah. And Pragg has really embraced the spirit of Norway chess. He's come to every game fighting. He really was in the pits when he lost 2 games in a row. He was staring down, finishing last place. And then he just turned it all around. And now looking at winning his 4th game. 5 decisive results.
Incredible. And along the way, you take down the world #1 twice and the world champion as well once.
Yes.
And then in a round when it matters the most, with the white pieces, you squeeze this endgame out. David, is there any hope for Vincent to survive this endgame? Down in exchange, not even for a pawn.
Great question. I think he needs another pawn. He needs to win one of the white pawns somehow. If the white G or H pawns were somehow just dropped off the board, maybe some dream of a fortress. I think with the bishop, you don't create a fortress unless you can somehow get a king to a dark square. You need to trade off the knight pair here, get those off the board, or you need to somehow persuade white to play knight takes bishop while the black knight continues getting active. But I'm saying this with a lot of wishful thinking. I think Vincent Keimer, if he's being realistic, cannot get everything in order here. White's got pawns running, white's got a rook that's about to activate, white's got the most beautiful dark squared grip possible in the center. I'm trying to find reasons, but I'm struggling, and I think Vincent Keimer's struggling.
Yeah, and this is the big problem. The white army is simply going to be penetrating on the dark squares, and there's nothing that Vincent can do to fight that. White's knight on e5 is so beautifully placed, controlling all of the right squares, and the white king threatening to come in at the right time.
And the white rook's ready to come in from the A file or the C file. Choose your pick, enter on the 7th rank, combine it with the king and the knight. And Vincent's king still not out of trouble. Both players around the 4-minute mark, but the clock does not matter.
No. The clock is the least
Of Vincent's problems.
Exactly. It's what's happening on the board. But, of course, One games are not all won until the clock has been stopped, so Pragg has to hold his nerve.
Do you ever want to trade that knight for the bishop and try to get in your king? But I'm seeing ideas of knight c4, and I wonder who those trades actually favor.
Yeah, ultimately, I think it probably is winning for white, but why give black the hope of jumping in with a knight, trying to win some pawns? You can win it the slow way. At some point, he can go back, maybe not immediately, but go back and win this bypasser that's crossed into the white half. At some point, I think just moving the rook in is going to be a really nasty idea against Vincent Keimer's king. Vincent leans back. He knows it's almost hopeless, but at least he's trying. And good tip for everyone at home, play to the bitter end just in case.
And that bitter end, he's setting up some ideas, right? With h4, bishop e4. Watch out for that g2 pawn. The more pawns that get off the board, Vincent Keimer's chances and hopes for that draw, trying to survive this position, taking it to the Armageddon, might start to appear at some point. I love the idea of just getting the rook onto the game. Why trade that beautiful knight right now? Rook a1, rook a7. Start lining up the rook against the h-pawn or the e-pawn, win them all. He's reaching for the rook, and it happens.
I agree with you, Tanya. There's a lot of dreaming going on for Vincent. One of them would be that if you manage to swap off the knights and all of the pawns, barring white's h-pawn, it actually would be a draw with the rook versus the bishop and the rook and pawn. It's really interesting, but okay, that's just a wishful thinking. The rook comes into a1 and now is getting ready to activate. It can come up to a6, to a7. It has its pick.
Yeah, there are some mating nets on the board if that white rook gives a check and the black king ever pokes its head forward to f6. Knight to g4 is a checkmate. That is just one of the many, many threats that Vincent Keimer has to deal with. But yeah, he's just looking for a final hope. Bishop can come into e4. Maybe that's the best of the sad bunch here. Pragg, though, such control. This is the style that we were talking about earlier. Maybe Gukesh is going to be watching this thinking, okay, I can play for 2 results. I can play it safe. That's what Pragg was doing. But when he got his chance, he has seized it so strongly with both hands.
Very clinical and very controlled there by Pragnananda. That's our left screen. Oh no, that's actually our right screen as we get that in order. Alireza Firouzja, Wesley saw the Armageddon's on, but maybe the decisive factor is the right board.
Yes, all eyes on the right board as we see Pragnananda in full control against Vincent Keimer. He clinches those 3 points. He will walk away as Norway champion. And in the Armageddon, Alireza is in trouble against Wesley. So Wesley has the draw odds. And Wesley has lots of time on the clock as well. So Alireza, problems.
Yeah, looks like Wesley, who is the exchange up, is about to win that game. Shouldn't be in any danger. The black king, there we go, moves. That's the left board. The black knight in the corner isn't going to survive, but it's going to cost white a few moves going to get it. And in the meantime, Wesley will be able to consolidate his advantage. Should be close now to winning that, but in the end, meaningless. Wesley's Armageddon win if Pragg closes out this game now, and he's getting ever closer every single move.
And you've got to be feeling a bit for Wesley So right now, who's played a fantastic tournament, but what's happening on the Pragg board completely out of his hands. And Wesley doing Wesley things in the Armageddon, right? Raking up those wins. He's done it fantastically with the black pieces against Alireza, needing only a draw, but with a completely winning position. Up in exchange, the knight comes back, the king feeling completely safe, but Vincent King on that right board, now with the rook pinned on that 7th rank, e6 about to fall next.
It is the pawn. It is ripe for the taking. No way to defend it.
He might resign, Yovi. He might resign any moment. Bishop f5, knight e5, game over.
Both might resign. Alireza could resign, and there we go. Championship moment. It is Pragnananda, Norway chess champion.
Incredible. No Indian has ever won Norway chess. Magnus Carlsen has won it 7 times. Today, both those facts change. Remember this moment. Ramesh Babu Pragnananda, champion of Norway chess 2026.
It's been 10 days of relentless, ruthless chess, but one man has risen above it all to be crowned Norway chess champion. And what a storyline it was. You know, we had comebacks, we had hat tricks, we had defeating the world #1, not once, but twice.
Yeah, just fantastic performance here by Pragnananda. Just incredible mental fortitude here shown in this last round for Wesley So. He gets the win against Alireza, but just not good enough to get the championship.
Yeah, all smiles here. Wesley, though, will be ruining that draw, unable to be as decisive as Prag. Farouja smiles. It's been a great tournament for him too. Very impressive stuff. Unable to get that final hurdle. We're hoping to see him back to full health soon. But yeah, it's just been a story of Prag this last 24 hours, I was going to say, but actually the last 4 days, the 4 rounds that he's won all in a row. He needed to. Imagine, like, he was so far behind, so last place, that he needed to win every single game just to overtake Wesley.
It's incredible, right? And to think about it, it's not just 4 wins, it's 4 classical wins. And that's not a storyline many players can boast of. Back-to-back 4 classical wins to take the championship at Norway Chess. I've never seen it play out like this before. And this means, Givanka, times are really changing in the world of chess. You've got 22-year-old Bibisara Asubayeva winning Norway Chess Women, 20-year-old Pragnananda taking Norway Chess.
Absolutely. Bibisara winning Norway Chess Women yesterday with a round to spare. Today's game did not matter for her, but one game that did matter was Pragnananda, who defeated Vincent Keimer to net a full 3 points. And there you see at the top of the scoreboards, 1 point ahead of Wesley. So it is Norway Chess Champion 2026, Pragnananda. What a performance. You know, I still can't get over the incredible storylines that we saw this round. And in the meantime, we still see 1 game going on, and that is Magnus Carlsen, who has been pushing his luck with the clock, but winning on the board.
Winning on the board, but he's cutting it fine. White is running out of pawns here.
All right. Let's get our game going. All right, everything seems to be working. All right. All right, here we go. We have Rudranj as an opponent for this game. There seems to be connection issue with Rudranj. We'll give him 2 minutes. Yeah, he was aborted. I'll try a fresh 30-minute game. Let's see. All right. Interesting. What should I play? I'll let the knight go. So he backed away. The queen is eyeing my knight here, so let's see. Should I pull my bishop here or here? Or let's put my bishop here. Or if I do this, developed the bishop, they developed the pawn, right. Okay, that is that, and this way I should be able to check the king. Should I do it? Probably I should. It's a fork because the rook is also on the fire line. But let me double check everything before I do that. If I move my bishop here, he has to move it. Nope, nope, nope. I missed the bishop here. It's going to be I lose the